am your MC for the evening. I am the Master of Ceremonies, or Toastmasters. Yes, I am standing. I've also got a little stand here. Greetings and salutations. Okay, this is the year of the acronym and the initials. So you're going to hear things like GOAT, COAT, COTTY, COOTY, POTTY, BF. Well, hang on a second. I got to get all these down. We got LOL, BRB, BFF, OMG, FR, NVM, SVM, WTF, ASAP, BYOB, and YOLO. If you don't know what all of them mean, don't ask me. Ask some young person. The reason why we're here is to induct two very deserving individuals. We are going to induct Bruce Beers. Bruce is being escorted by, I believe, his wife.
No.
No?
Jimmy's got that. Jimmy will tell.
Jimmy, you want to handle that?
Yeah.
You want me to announce that now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, we have Bruce Beers, escorted by Granda. Up next, we have Don Granda Jr., which I'm so close to follow behind. I'm like so close to you.
In your dream.
That wasn't it. Show. Escorted by Bernie Beers.
Now you can have Wayne with the invocation if you want. And a moment of silence.
You want to do the veterans now?
If you want to.
Okay, since we're so close to Veterans Day, I would like all the veterans to stand. Kelly, you can certainly stand for Austin. We know that Austin is at boot camp with the Marine Corps. God bless his soul. Okay, dear Abby said it so well. For your service to our nation, I salute you. My thanks to each of you on Veterans Day and every day of the year. You are the personification of patriotism, self-sacrifice, and dedication to our country. I would also like to recognize your families for their sacrifices they too have made. To our veterans, thank you.
Wayne Sparks.
Coming up here?
No, he's going to go to the DJ booth.
At this time, Wayne Sparks will give the invocation. Wayne? What do you say? Push that once.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a great honor to be asked to do this. This is a great bowling community. I'm glad that I joined it years ago when I came out to Pennsylvania from California. So, you all bow your heads now. Let me say the blessing. Father God, we thank you for these men and women that are here tonight, great individuals around the bowling community. We have come together for this honoring for Mr. Beers and Mr. Brown. We ask you to bless the food to our bodies and hope it will make us all better. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Wayne. Also, we would like a moment of silence for all the bowlers that we've lost in the past, few months, and certainly all the people that have been victims of the COVID virus. So please bow your head for a second or two. Thank you. I guess at this time, I'd like all past inductees to stand. All past inductees, please stand. These are the best bowlers in western Crawford County, bar none. Thank you. I promised that I would not offend anyone, so I have no jokes. No applause. No applause. Well, that's a lie. I guess I'm a dad. I'm a granddad. So I'm going to tell a couple of dad jokes. Where do bees go to the bathroom? At the BP station. I'm afraid for the calendar, its days are numbered. Is this mic on? Singing in the shower is fun until you get soap in your mouth. Then it becomes a soap opera. April showers bring May flowers. What do Mayflowers bring? The Pilgrims, that's correct. You know, I thought the dryer was shrinking my clothes. Turns out it was the refrigerator all along. Yes. That's not a bad thing at all, you're right. Okay, some people eat snails. Anybody here eat snails? The French called escargot. Anyone? Anyone eat snails? They must not like fast food. They must not like fast food. Is this mic on?
Sure it is.
Okay, that's enough of that crap. Anyway, I would be remiss. I was shocked when I shouldn't say that. That's not very nice. I was surprised when I saw them. I have to call on them because they are probably two pillars of our association. I think they go back to the War of 1812? I got to call on them. Bill and Esther Brooks are here tonight. I know Bill is 97. God bless you, Bill. And Esther is also over 90. My God, you two, I certainly salute your longevity. And Bill was my mentor, and we would not have had an association without Bill and Esther. And God, they've lived a long, productive life, and I guess I wish 97 more years, Bill. God bless you and Esther. Tom?
Thanks, Mike. Hello, everyone. I'm President of the Association, Tom Archake. I'd like to welcome everyone to the 2021 Western Crawford County Bowling Association Hall of Fame Honors Dinner. Congratulations to Bruce and my bald-headed friend, Donnie. We had many competitions earlier in our lives, and I did beat him once or twice. Then he got really good. So congratulations to them. Also to our junior bowlers. And Carl Buttre, I'm not sure if he was able to make it, but people don't know much about Carl, but I do. He bowled plasma for many, many years and many leagues. Great gentleman, and he's also being honored tonight. Special thanks to Brad Angelo, who's our guest speaker. Thank you for making the trip down, Brad. And of course to Mike Mudger and his terrible jokes, our master of ceremony. Thank you, Mike. Somebody has to do it. At this time, I'd like to introduce the board members that serve underneath me and do a fantastic job. Ladies and gentlemen, as I announce your name, please stand and remain standing. Ann Archake, Vice President. Stacy Dodson, Vice President. Vicki Heim, Vice President. Christy Wolf, Sergeant of Arms. Michelle Rambo Cape, Association Manager. Betty Frasina. Brandon Wackham. Bruce Heim. Sherry Reese. Jeff Keener. Larry Hoffman's not here, he's very sick. Natalie Hanks. Nikki Lippert, Ramon Rodriguez is on the board, but he had to work tonight, so Kurt could be here. Sean Smith, Tammy Dilla Jonas, I think I did that one right, and Jessica Miller. This is your Western Crawford County Board. Please, a round of applause. Thank you, folks. Couldn't do it without you. At this time, I'd like to introduce our dignitaries from the state that are here. Sitting at the head table is Mike Coyle. He is a PA State USBC Director, and also he is the newest member of the PSBA State USBC Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Mike. We also have in the house Mr. Jim Bowser. He is the 203-204 PSBA President, and he is also a PA State USBC Hall of Famer 2018. Also with us is PA State USBC Director Bob Durr, and Paul Clayton was going to show up, but I don't think Paul made it. So thank you very much for attending. Now I'd like to introduce our proprietors that are here, as soon as I find them. All right. I know they're on here somewhere. Here we go. Cochran Lanes. We have Lee Duck. He's the new proprietor of Cochran Lanes, just took over the place, has made wonderful improvements, and can't say enough about Lee. He's a great guy, so hopefully he has great success. Lakeside Lanes, we have them both here. Bruce Beers and Donnie Granda Jr. Lost Lanes from Cambridge Springs, we have Harry and Natalie Hanks. And from Plaza Lanes, we have Kurt Baird. These are our proprietors, and they do a great job. Thank you. At this time, I'd also like to recognize from Mike Machuga, Next Level Pro Shop, we have Billy O'Brien in the house. Billy's drilling a lot of balls and doing a really good job. And he's a great guy. If you need something done, come see Billy. And also we have two guest proprietors, Joe and Sue Dorton. Could you please stand up, please? They own Celebrity Bowl, and they're great people, and I'm glad they could make our banquet. And also, I'd like to tell you the tournaments that we're going to be having in Western Crawford County. Jamboree Mystery Doubles Tournament will be held at Plaza Lanes. Luncheon is included. That's December 5th at 10 a.m. We have a mixed couples tournament at Cochran Lanes on January 5th and January 16th. Shifts are 10 and 2. There will be an adult junior tournament at Plaza, February 27th at 10. And our county tournament, which I hope everybody can come out and participate. This is our men's 75th tournament and our women's 50th tournament. Of course, they're combined. We are a combined association. That will be held on March 26th and 27th and April 1st and 3rd. Shifts to be announced. And singles and doubles will be at Lost Lanes, and team event will be at Lakeside Lanes. So please come out. Everybody who participates will be getting a gift for participating in the inaugural tournaments. Also now I have the winners of 2019-2020 tournament, being this is an honors dinner. The women's county tournament, men's and women's, I'm sorry. Team event was won by your mom. Doubles was Tom Archake and Jeff Keener. Singles was Dave Riley, God rest his soul. All events, John Erdley. The men's scratch was Cochran and Crushers. Men's scratch doubles was Tom Archake and Jeff Keener. Singles, Brandon Waka. All events, Lee Duck. Women's handicap, Classic Ladies, which was Margaret Thompson, Karen Stedman, Ellen Van Gilder, and Vicki Hine. On the doubles, it was Tiffany Graham and Sherry Reese. Singles, Tiffany Graham. All events, Tiffany Graham. And the Special Women's Award, the Diane Mudger and All Memorial Award donated by the association. The award presented to the bowler with the highest handicap series in any event bowled was won by Vicky Heim for a 789 in the team event. The 500, 600 Jamboree Mystery Doubles Tournament Lost Lanes on February 9th of 2020. The winner was Diane McHenry. Winners of Mystery Doubles was Diane McHenry and Teresa Sliker. And our second annual mixed tournament at Lakeside Lanes on March 14th. And the second shift was canceled due to COVID. The winner was Diane McHenry and Mike McHenry. And the third annual mixed tournament Lost Lanes on April 18th of 2021, the winner was Aaron Pluta and Rodney Smith. That's all of that. And I'd like to send out a special thanks to Stacy Dodson. I'd like everybody to give Stacy a round of applause. This is our first time here. I hope everybody enjoyed the meal. I thought it was great. We had to do a few different things, but kudos to Pamper Palate. It was a very good meal. And thank you very much, and thanks, Stacy, for all your hard work. And in closing, it was a very long wait for Donnie and Bruce to finally get into the Hall of Fame. Many years they had to wait, but then COVID hit, and they had to wait another 2 years. So unfortunately on their awards, the date is 2020, but at least they're getting them this year. We can all be here without masks on and have a gathering, which is fantastic. So hopefully tonight, the wait will be worth it. Congratulations. Thank you.
At this time, Doug wants to recognize some junior bowlers. Here he comes. Thank you, Doug.
Yes, they're all right there. Mike can hand them out if you want, or I'll hand them out.
Okay. Good evening. Haven't been here in a while. I've been absent from this event for a few years. Personal reasons, and then with COVID and everything, I kind of missed out on a few things. But glad to be back, and I'm really glad to see that we're still honoring juniors the way we started doing this quite a few years ago now. I think it's important for the community, the bowling community, to see the young bowlers and what they've accomplished and what they've been able to do. One of those, I wanted to just mention one thing. I didn't get a chance to really prepare an awful lot as far as statistics on what's going on with the junior bowlers. But I do know that we have a 13-year-old who was able to throw a 300 game within the past couple months, Landon Lilar. Anytime you've got a 13, 14, 15-year-old throwing 300 games, something's right somewhere. Tom asked me to kind of step in and do this again this year, so at this point I'd like to start in with some of the bowlers that we have. Now, one bowler was unable to make it tonight, but we are going to bring him up anyhow. His name is Jordan Vaughn. He's talked to Bruce about him a little bit, and he said he's had numerous 700s and 250 plus games. And basically, Bruce said he's an outstanding young man and a pleasure to coach. He's a member of the Cash Bowling Club, and he's still bowling today. Okay, another bowler from Lakeside. Dylan Platts, 17-year-old senior at Cache, is grandson of Joyce Wade, son of Krista. In 2018-2019, he threw 7 600s, 2 250-plus games, and 1 300. That was at age 14. 2019-2020, threw 4 600s, 2 7s, several 250-plus games, averaged 184. 2021, obviously, 20 and 2021 were all shortened seasons. It threw 7 600s, 250-plus games, averaged 190. And so far this year, he's thrown 3 6s and 1 250-plus, averaging 196. He's currently training to be an EMT and is a firefighter. Dylan, if you'd come up here. Is he here?
Dylan Platts.
I don't know, is he here?
Is he here?
Didn't make it? Okay, we'll hold that one. Okay, from Plaza Lanes, we have 18-year-old daughter of Brad and Kim Anderson, Jasmine Anderson. She's a senior at Meadville High School, been bowling for 3+ years, member of the Meadville Bowling Club for 2 years, averaging about 112, high game 147. She took first place in her division in the Pepsi tournament and qualified for state competition. Her other activities include dance, marching band. She plays the violin, piano, guitar, and bass. She is planning on attending Chatham College next year, where she will begin studying for pediatric medicine. Jasmine, you come up here. Yeah, she's there.
Congratulations. You want to say a few words? Okay.
Okay, now I have, I believe this one was actually supposed to be done last year, but obviously with the cancellation, we couldn't do it. So it's a 19-year-old daughter of Sean and Kim Whitehead, Delaney Whitehead. Started bowling at age 10, joined the high school bowling club in 8th grade. In 2020, she, in a regional event at Pittsburgh, took 6th place, where she had the 3rd highest score, and her high game was 265 and a series of 676. Her high series to date was a 693 thrown at Lost Lanes. In regionals in Pittsburgh for singles, after 5 games, she was finished in 3rd and out of 82 girls, and 5th in the step ladder. State Girls High School Bowling Championship, she finished 10th. In Youth Handicaps Division A girls finished 3rd. In 2020, she participated in the Ladies Classic at Cambridge Springs. She qualified 5th in match play and 12th overall. She's currently bowling collegiately at Mercyhurst, where she's a freshman, and majoring in early childhood education and minor in special education. Delaney? I thought for sure you'd say something. Okay, one more here. We have Ace Reese, son of Sherry Reese, age 17, started bowling at 3 years old, has bowled for 15 years, high series 669, high game 284. She's a member of the Meadville Bowling Club, is qualified for Pepsi in districts numerous times and states 3 times. I have a quote from Ace that I thought was kind of cool. Bowling and I have always had a love-hate relationship, as I'm assuming most of you too. He's had good days and bad days, but over the years, bowling has taught him many things and brought me friendships that I am grateful for. I thought that was a neat quote. He's been, as I said, he's been bowling for 15 years, but his other activities include president of the Key Club, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a volunteering organization through the school, president of the marching band, president of the bowling club, president of the bridge club, and he plays soccer. He's on the school debate team, member of the National Honor Society and a student council, and part of the student credit union. He also participates in a mock trial. That is, I have an explanation. That's where a group of students are assigned a case, a fake court case, and after months of preparing, they go to court at the courthouse and compete against other schools, where the students are actually the witnesses and the lawyers, and then they have an actual court case. He participates in that, and his favorite activities are debate, team, soccer, Netflix, and reading books. His future plans: he's enlisted in the Marines, plans to specialize in legal services. After the Marines, he plans to attend college and get his law degree. Ace. Would you really?
I would just like to thank my mom, especially my grandparents, for supporting me throughout the years. I know it's been hard. Like I said, I have a love-to-hate relationship, which when I was young, it included a lot of tears. So thank you for always supporting me and being there for me and coaching me. And thank you to everybody here for coming out and supporting.
Thanks, Ace. Best of luck to all of you in your future plans.
Thank you, Doug. Do we have any school teachers in the crowd? Any school teachers? Do you teach math? You do teach math. Wonderful. You know what I say to math? Grow up and solve your own problems. You agree with me, don't you? Way to go. Many years ago, is anyone here from Carl Betray's family? Many years ago, we started the Lyle Williams Award. That award was for dedication to and love of the sport of bowling. And we wanted to recognize someone. We all have aches and pains, and Lord knows we're all getting older. And sometimes on occasion, the last thing you want to do is go bowling, but you feel an obligation and you feel a responsibility and you enjoy the camaraderie. So we wanted to recognize Carl Betray for his longevity. Unfortunately, he's not here tonight, but that is what the Lyle R. Williams Award is for. And so we wanted to recognize Carl for his longevity. Well, you begin introduce him first. Okay, the reason why I'm here. Oh, let's see. Basically, Bruce was born on December the 18th, 1952. Do the math. He currently resides at 12586 Walnut Drive in Conneaut Lake with his wife, Roberta, who most of us know as Bertie. They have two sons, Brian and Chad, and 2 grandsons, Bryson and Braxton. Bruce is retired from the Lord Corporation in Sagertown. Bruce started coaching at Plaza Lanes in 1986. He became a certified YABA coach in 1991. And for those of you people that are too young, YABA was the youth program before everything was merged. One of Bruce's earliest students was Don Granda Jr. In 1999, Bruce took classes through Ace Mitchell Bowling Supply on how to drill bowling balls and opened up and ran Striker's Pro Shop from 1999 to 2006. In 2006, Bruce and Donnie purchased Lakeside Lanes. This friendship partnership has exceeded 25 years together. Bruce has spent half of his life in organized bowling. Bruce has a high game of 299 and a high series of 754, and his highest average is 204. So, the coach can also bowl in his own right. To quote Bruce, when you have a person set goals and when they have a breakthrough, seeing the joy and excitement and motivation are incredible. That keeps me coaching. Also, bowlers, for the most part, are a very special family. You develop friendships that last a lifetime. Well, Bruce, tonight your bowling family wants to honor you for your dedication to the sport of bowling locally by inducting you into the Western Crawford County Bowling Hall of Fame. Don't get up yet.
I'm not getting up anyway.
Bruce is everyone's coat, and Bruce is everyone's cootie. That didn't come out right. Bruce is everyone's COAT, coach of all time. Bruce is everyone's cootie, COTY, coach of the year. Bruce, before you come up, we have a little surprise for you. Nick? Is Brooke here?
I haven't seen her yet. I hope so. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight to honor the 2 newest inductees, Bruce and Dawn, into the Western Crawford County Hall of Fame. My name is Nick Archake. I grew up in Sagertown, and I've bowled in Crawford County all my life. I'm currently a college freshman enrolled at Marion University in Indianapolis, Indiana, competing on the men's varsity bowling team. I'm blessed to be here tonight thanks to my Marion bowling coaches, Jordan and Jerica Gray. I'm also here because of one very special person, a man who's been extremely influential in my life, as well as many other bowlers. I'm here to celebrate a coach on our Bowling Association biggest night, Bruce Spears, the man that many of us in this county consider to be not only one of the best-minded about bowling and being one of the handful of local proprietors, but being a premier next-level bowling coach for so many of the area's best. I am lucky to be one of the people that was coached by Bruce for many years, and I'll say with the confidence in me, I would not be the bowler or person I am today without him. I started working with Bruce in the summer of 2013. I just turned 12 years old. He kickstarted my success in youth bowling, the biggest being my second place finish at Junior Gold in 2016. Bruce sacrificed so much of his time to help a kid chase a dream, and he's still one of the guys that roots for me and everyone who continues, improves, and learns to bowl. Bruce would open the lanes, and still does, for his students who either want a lesson, have a chat about bowling, or just want to throw a few games in preparation for a tournament. Young or old, he is the guy to go to if you ever need a helping hand. Bruce might look like an old grumpy man, but under his skin is a heart of gold. He's one of the most generous and selfless people you'd ever meet, a man who's genuinely one of a kind. Years after I moved on to another coach, Bruce was still a guy I could rely on for anything. I asked him to be at my college signing for Marion, and both him and Birdie were there to watch me sign that paper. Having him there for me at that moment was extremely special to me. Bruce has spent so much of his free time off his busy work schedule to help others, putting them before himself. Bruce always talked highly of me and my bowling ability, and still does. Seeing him and talking with him is a throwback to great times, and it always brings a smile to my face. The 5 years I called him my coach, I was and still am extremely grateful to do so. Bruce always told me my skill in bowling was natural and my accomplishments would have never happened without him. However, I'll be the first one to say that he is one of the reasons why I'm considered to be one of the best youth bowlers to come from this area. Because of Bruce, I won 4 County Youth Bowler of the Year awards, 1 County Bowler of the Year award, being at my dream bowling college, and continuing my quest to be a professional on the PBA Tour. Bruce, thank you. Thank you for all the lessons we had together. Thank you for all your time given to help me get better in a sport I love. Thank you for being a great supporter, coach, and friend to me, my family, all your bowlers at Lakeside Lanes, and all throughout the area. I want to shout out to Bruce's wife, Birdie. She has been by his side through all these years in the bowling industry, and I know they will both continue to be great ambassadors for the area and the sport of bowling. Finally, Bruce, the day you retire from operating the lanes and bowling itself, it will be a heartfelt one. Not because you'll no longer be doing it, but because you did it for the best of us all. Thank you, and have a wonderful night.
Brooke here? Did Brooke make it? Okay, good. She's next.
Brooke Garvey?
Glad you made it.
Yes, I'm glad I made it too. Hello, I am Brooklyn Garvey. Okay, hopefully this will prop up. I know, okay. Finally, this is the year that both Bruce and Don are being inducted into the Crawford County Hall of Fame. We've waited so long for this night to happen, and it's here. But I want to talk about the man who has turned me into the bowler I am today, and that is Bruce Beers. Okay. Bruce has always been my rock when it comes to anything. He's supportive, loving, and overall just a great person. Without him, I probably wouldn't be standing here talking about him to all of you tonight. When I was still home, I'd be at the bowling alley 6 to 7 days a week with him. He's seen the good, the bad, and the ugly from me, which you can take that as it is. I owe all my accomplishments to him. I couldn't have done it without him. I've always seen Bruce as more than just a coach. He's my family. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just a little emotional today. I've been coached by him for as long as I can possibly remember, and he's never given up on me. Neither has his wife, Birdie. It's like having another set of parents. And I'm just gonna make this short because I don't like talking in front of people, but when I'm cranky or arguing with my mom, we'd walk into the bowling alley and she would look at him and say, "She's your problem now." And him and I would go back into the pro shop, and him and I would talk about what was going on, and he always knew what to say, even if it was to get my head out of my rear, you know. And then it's just always so nice to see how much time Bruce and Dawn have spent at the bowling alley and made it possible with having all the leagues and helping all the kids. So thank you to both of them, especially Bruce, for making all that possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Bruce, come on up.
I'll hand it.
Me? Yeah. You want me?
Absolutely. That's a hell of a picture. Is that a tuxedo?
It is.
Oh, all right.
Just for you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. The mic is yours.
You want to do Mike?
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
Bruce, congratulations. On behalf of the Pennsylvania State USBC, I have a proclamation to read for you. And now this 20th day of November in the year of our Lord 2021, whereas Bruce Beers has made significant contributions to and achieved much in the sport of American 10-pin bowling in the Western Crawford County USBC, and Whereas, as a result of these contributions and achievements, said Bruce Spears has been recognized by his peers of being worthy of induction into the Western Crawford County USBC Hall of Fame. Now, therefore, the officers and directors of the Pennsylvania State USBC themselves and on behalf of the bowlers in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania they represent, do proudly recognize and congratulate Bruce Spears for his induction into the Western Crawford County USBC Hall of Fame. Signed, Renee Talkington, Pennsylvania State USBC President. Congratulations, Bruce.
Also, before you start, Bruce gets a plaque recognizing the honor tonight being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I love these plaques. State of Pennsylvania, WCC, USBCBA, Hall of Fame, Bruce Spears, November the 20th, 2021. And he also gets a Hall of Fame ring for his induction into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Bruce.
Thank you, Mike. It's all yours, bud.
You wait for this. I got stuff on a lot of you people here. And it's all on this paper. Mark Twain famously said, there are only two types of speakers in this world, the nervous and the liar. I'm not a liar. I was going to read from my coaching journal the names of the people that I have coached over the years. Just a few thousand. My family thought that might be a bit much. So they had me edit it down to just a few minutes. You can thank them later. I'm honored and deeply touched becoming a member of the Western Crawford County Bowling Association Hall of Fame. I would like to thank the board for this honor. And also our state representatives for being here. And of course, Tom, he's a state representative. He had to drive all of 1.7 miles. Also, I'd like to recognize my wife, Roberta Beers, for all the Saturdays and Sundays and the nights spent at the lanes. I have had the joy of coaching my sons, Brian and Chad, and their wives, Ashley and Shannon. Now I get the pleasure of teaching my grandchildren, Bryson and Braxton. There were two people that really pushed me to become a coach. And I would like to give a special thanks to Maria Price and Robert Catul. Now, to my first year of coaching, I had the honor of trying to help a young bowler. This young man seasoned me really sudden. I think that's why I'm still coaching today. If I didn't quit at that point, I was never quitting. The two of us have been in the bowling business for 25 years now. Thank you, Don. As a coach, as most of you know, I'm a coach. What do coaches do? Yeah, we coach. Coaches volunteer their time and their talent to build the skill set of their players. They all should be recognized for the dedication to their sport. A coach can turn your day around, give you a new breath of motivation. They have a great way of summing up learning and experiences in a way to inspire others. Inspiring others is a key role of a coach, giving them the tools that will last a lifetime. All of my years watching bowlers develop, there has always been a series of plateaus
that they will achieve. Take that 5-year-old in the bumper league. That 75 game is really something for him. To that person rolling his first 300 game, and everything in between is so special. That is one of the joys of bowling and coaching for me. When they have that breakthrough, the excitement and motivation is always incredible. Not everything can be learned from schools, internet, or the library. Sometimes the only way to advance your learning is directly from someone else, a mentor. Learning comes with a sense of duty. It's something we feel. When someone teaches you a new skill set, you are compelled to teach someone else. This is one of the most common things I see in the bowling families, is the willingness to teach someone what you already have learned. The distance between your dreams and reality is called action. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. It's not about being the best. It's about being better than you were yesterday. I can't do it, never accomplished anything, but the words, "I will try," has changed the world. Being involved in the bowling community for 30 plus years, the joy has always been seeing the development of the youth. Even more so, seeing where they are as adults. And I love looking back at my students to see where they are. I have always been a paid coach. I've been paid in high fives, smiles, and thank yous. I have received thank you cards, little gifts from their travels to tournaments and matches. Every one of them is so very special. I have a lot of these hanging on the wall in the pro shop and at home. When I reflect on them, I always smile. It's the little things that they did that really matter. And in closing, I would like to thank all of you for sharing this moment with Donald and I. Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. Job well done. Don Granda Jr. was born on August the 27th, 1971. He currently resides at 16571 Harmonsburg Road in Meadville with his wife, Kelly. They have two sons, Austin and Don III, DJ. Don is to use initials, Don is the CFO, Chief Financial Officer for the Crawford County Drug and Alcohol Executive Commission. Don and Bruce have owned Lakeside Lanes since 2006. Prior to that, they owned and operated Schrecker's Pro Shop at Plaza Lanes. This friendship partnership has exceeded 25 years together. Don is the GOAT, G-O-A-T, greatest of all time of the Western Crawford County bowling community. His accomplishments are nothing short of phenomenal. He currently holds the high series record in the association, 873, 17 pins short of perfection. What is that, Don, 34 strikes?
No.
33? Mea culpa. He holds or has held the association high average record, 248. But there is more. Don is the only member of what I call the 100-100 Club. Don has 128 career 300 games and 103 800 series. That bears repeating. Don has 128 career 300 games and 103 career 800 series. Don, did you miss one or two? Did you ever miss one or two? Other accomplishments include Pennsylvania State Scratch Team Champion, Area Shopper Scratch Champion, 1995 Classic Products PBA Regional Champion, and numerous association championships. Don is everyone's potty. That didn't come out right. Don is everyone's P-O-T-Y. Player of the Year. Don, before you come up, we have a little surprise for you. Kelly?
Thank you, Mike. So everyone knows our son, our youngest son. Our oldest son is here. Hi, DJ. Our youngest son, Austin, wasn't able to be here. I think y'all know he's at Marine boot camp right now, starting up his 5th week, I believe. So if you could all keep him in your prayers, and all the fellow recruits, they're going through some hardships down there. But anyway, he recorded this the night in Buffalo before he was to be shipped out to Parris Island to both Bruce and Dawn. I hope you guys can hear it. Hold on.
Film at 11?
Yeah.
I would love to be.
Whoop. Okay.
Hello, everybody. I just want to say congratulations to Bruce and Dawn for being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I would love to be there, but I'm tied up right now in case you haven't figured that one out. I'll be home soon, and congratulations to both of you.
So I just wanted to, he did want to be here for both of you, but things happen, so thank you.
Hey, here. Dawn, come on up.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Dawn, congratulations. I have a proclamation here for you. The Pennsylvania State USBC. And now, this 20th day of November, in the year of our Lord 2021, whereas Don Granda Jr. has made significant contributions to and achieved much in the sport of American 10-pin bowling in the Western Crawford County USBC, and whereas, as a result of these contributions and achievements, said Don Granda Jr. has been recognized by his peers as being worthy of induction into the Western Crawford County USBC Hall of Fame. Now, therefore, the officers and directors of the Pennsylvania State USBC themselves and on behalf of the bowlers in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania they represent do proudly recognize and congratulate Don Granda Jr. for his induction into the Western Crawford County USBC Hall of Fame. Signed, Renee Talkington, Pennsylvania State USBC Association President.
Don, congratulations.
Also joined with a plaque at the state of Pennsylvania, inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight, November 20th, 2021. And Dawn elected to choose this glass crystal bowling pin. Don't know why. Hell, he's knocked them all down. Dawn?
That's when he won't break. You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna try to compose myself. A little shook up here. So, well, at least as Tommy knows and a few others, I've always had an issue with going into the Hall of Fame at this age. To me, Hall of Fame is you're done with your career. Well, hopefully I'm not done. So I finally agreed to apply for the Hall of Fame. I did it because I thought my kids would both be here. COVID put a wreck into that last year. As Kelly just said, Austin's currently at boot camp in the Marines. So unfortunately, that didn't work out the way I planned, but nothing usually ever does. So my bowling career started 40 years ago. And at the end, I'm going to wrap it all up, and I'm going to tell you exactly why it started. When I was a junior bowler, I bowled at center bowl, and at school we'd get half days. Well, on half days, Scott Grinnell, Roderick Barrett, and myself would go to center bowl, and we'd bowl. And during that, we'd always pretend that we were on ABC Saturday afternoon in the PBA championship, and we needed that one strike to win the championship. And you think about it, that was about 35 years ago, and you had 3 future Hall of Famers all together with the same dream. So, and just with that, we all graduated together, class of 1989 from Meadville High School. Just going to put that out there. Might be the best 3-man team in Crawford County Hall of Fame from one graduating class. Congrats, Roderick and Scott. I know I wasn't here for your Hall of Fames, but congratulations. A few years later, I switched for bowling at Center Bowl. I switched and started bowling at Plaza Lanes. Shot my first 600 when I was 14 years old. I shot a 648. And that's when I really started to become serious about the game. During the summers, Plaza used to have an all-you-can-bowl card. I would get that every summer for 3 years straight. I'd go in Monday through Friday, every night. I'd bowl 15 to 20 games. I did this, like I said, for 3 straight summers. I'd do the same thing back when I was bowling PBA regionals. I'd do the same thing. I'd go in and bowl 15, 20 games a day. And that, as people ask, how do you repeat your shots time after time after time? That's where it came from. Or as my bowling teammate Tom Baker would say, Mr. Boring. Just one comment on that. Practicing is the one thing that's really missing from our game today. Golfers will go out, they'll play multiple rounds, and then they'll go to their league, get better. But when it comes to bowling, your league bowlers that come in, they bowl 3 games, they expect to get better. Hard work, putting in the time, it's the only way to successfully achieve your goals. I'd like to thank Maria Price. Maria gave me my first experience in a pro shop when I was a junior bowler. I'd like to thank Bob Katulik. Bob Katulik gave me my first job working at a bowling alley. And as you can see, both of these jobs would pay off later with Bruce and myself, owning the pro shop, owning the bowling alley. I'd like to thank Jimmy Hunter for everything that he does for the bowling community. We're very fortunate in our area to have the bowling articles published every week. There's so many areas throughout the country that get 0. So that would like to thank him. We're very fortunate for all the coverage he provides us. So if you could all applause Jimmy Hunter. Thank you. I'd like to recognize a few bowlers who aren't with us anymore that have positively affected my career. Ron Terry was a teammate with me in a couples league towards the end of his career. He was a ball driller of mine for several years. And you knew when you were going to Ron's to get a ball drilled, it was going to take several hours. Oh, and then you'd get your ball drilled. So, Lyle Williams. I know we have a award for Lyle, but Lyle was the toughest person for me to bowl against head-to-head. He would always rise to the occasion and would always give me a hell of a battle. And Lyle was a statistician. One day after Lyle had quit bowling in the Merchants League. He walked in the night we were bowling, comes in with a piece of paper in his hand, and he hands it to me. And here, he had broken down every match that we had had head-to-head on every pair. And he handed it to me, and we looked at the totals. We ended up being 500 against each other for our entire career. Wow. Yeah. Amazing that the detail that Lyle would keep. Bill Lynn, absolute class. That's the best way that I can describe Bill. I remember meeting Bill the first time that I bowled in a lake-to-lake scratch tournament. Bill went on to lead the tournament by over 250 pins. That's a lot for 8 games. And I barely made it through the cut, finished, I was the last person to make it in. We bowled match play. Bill led the match play by 250 pins again. He was just running away with the tournament. I was able to claw my way in to make the step ladder. I ran the step ladder and met Bill in the finals. Unfortunate for Bill, he caught a bad pair, wasn't able to carry, and I ended up beating him. And Bill was the most professional person I had ever met. He took the loss gracefully, congratulated me, and right there is when I learned I want to be as professional as this individual. And I've focused and improved myself to become and act the way that he has. So one other thing, Bill was a member of our Pennsylvania championship team, along with Jeff Lee, Jimmy Lynn, and Dave Zelasco. And one other comment I have about Bill, the word GOAT's been thrown around a lot. Well, if I can't vote for myself, Bill Lynn's the man. So. I gotta thank Jeff Lee for flying in from Wisconsin. So the first time I met Jeff was in the Merchants League. We were bowling head to head. Yeah, I kicked his ass. 750 to 660, and I think he knows where this is going. And after we were done, then I offered the advice. I said, hey, Jeff, this is how you score at Plaza. Yeah, big mistake. So he enjoyed kicking my ass for the next 10 years, routinely. Damn, I'm glad he moved back to Wisconsin. Jeff and I had some great times. It was a blast traveling with you in the mid-90s throughout the PBA Central region. Thanks for coming. Quickly, Doug Tabor, thanks for continuing to bowl well past your bowling retirement date. Yeah, you're currently 28 300s and 3 800s past that date, brother. Past and present teammates, thank you very much. It's been a blessing to have such great friends and memories. Bruce Beers, thanks for the 25 plus years as business partners and amazing friends. It's been a hell of an experience. Thank you. Congratulations on your own Hall of Fame induction. The bowling community has benefited greatly from your coaching experience, and the Hall of Fame now has the greatest coach in history. Thank you. Okay. I got to thank my parents for supporting me financially. As a kid, for all the leagues, all the bowling balls, all the tournaments, and for all your support, keep pushing me out. Especially when I was bowling regionals. I greatly appreciate it. DJ and Austin. Austin, you're not here, but DJ, thanks for picking up bowling as a kid. Not that you had a choice. And staying with it as you matured into an adult. Being able to bowl with you guys the past few years as adults has just been amazing. Kelly, what can I say? Thank you for everything. I can't thank you enough, or we'd be here until tomorrow. So I love you. Thank you so much. Thanks again for everyone attending tonight. The bowling community is one big family. Proud to be inducted to the Hall of Fame. And last, as like I said, I was going to wrap it up on how this all got started. This is for the bowling proprietors. You just never know who might walk through that door. It just might be a kid who saw a picture of a monkey's face on a glass door that said, "Join a league today." And that kid just got elected to the Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaughn.
You can do it.
You know, very quickly, we certainly want to thank Armstrong Cable. Armstrong Cable's here tonight. God, they're filming this thing. Yeah, I know somebody's going to watch this thing, and I'll probably be, I don't know, chastised or whatever. I also want to recognize Jimmy Hunter for the coverage that he gives us. And I want to say it's a real honor when non-bowlers look forward to reading your articles. And looking out over the crowd, I'm not sure how old these two are, but they're very, very young. And I know Bill Brooks is 97, but Jimmy ran an article recently about 3 sets of grandfather, father, son, all bowling 300 games in our association. Bill Lynn bowled a 300 game, Jimmy bowled a 300 game, Corey bowled a 300 game, Al Dunawald bowled a 300 game. I believe Tom and Ann have both bowled 300 games, and Nick has bowled a 300 game. And John Hersina Sr., Bill and John Jr., and Nick Hersina. That was an interesting article, so I wanted to make a comment of that. And as you can see, looking across the crowd, bowling is for a lifetime. And I think the proof of that is what we're looking at here tonight. So, Jimmy, you know, God bless you and thank you for all the things that you do for our association. Like, a lot of people don't get that kind of coverage. Jimmy Gilbert is our DJ. Thank you, Jimmy. You do a hell of a job over there. And Mike Coyle will speak for the Pennsylvania State, oh Lord, USBCBA merged, combined association.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, we got a lot of letters in the name. But when it comes right down to it, we're the state organization, a merged state organization now. I would like to take this opportunity and personally congratulate Dawn and Bruce for your induction into the Hall of Fame. Now, this evening when Mike asked all the former inductees in the room to stand up, I noticed there was about 25% of the room that stood up. Congratulations to every one of you. Now, I got one question for you. Out of those that stood up, how many have ever made application to the State Hall of Fame? You could be sitting next to next year's Hall of Fame member. Please, send in the application. The state is pretty good sized, and we don't know who you all are. So until you make the application, you're not going to get into the inducted. And there are many, many, many in this room who are worthy. Okay? Now, a couple other orders of business. The state association runs tournaments. The championship tournament this year is just right down the road in Butler, my hometown. I would sure love to see everybody come down and visit us. We're going to have one of the most convenient state tournaments in the history. The two centers, if you go across the hill, they're less than a mile apart. So come on down and visit us. The women's championship tournament is in Allentown this year. So we got both ends of the state covered. Last order of business. Your president up here, when he introduced the visitors and the dignitaries from the state, he left off one very important person. Now, I've known Tom for a lot of years, back when he had hair. So I know that Tom doesn't like to talk too much about himself. He's kind of a quiet guy. Yeah, okay, I hear it. But back in September, Tom was appointed to the Pennsylvania State USBC Board by President Renee Talkington. Tom was then unanimously approved for the open seat by the Board of Directors. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate Tom Archake. Once again, my congratulations to all the inductees, especially Dawn and Bruce. Mike? Oh, by the way, I have a thought provoker for you.
A thought provoker?
Yeah, you've come up with so many things over the years that I've got one for you now. What did they call an electric eel before they invented electricity?
I don't know.
Think about it.
I will. You going to give us the answer? No. Oh, okay. Anybody know the answer? Okay.
I'll give it to you next year.
Thank you. I don't know if you were here the last time I told this one. You remember Sir Arthur? You remember King Arthur and his court? Knights at the Round Table, Maid Marian.
Okay.
Who was the largest knight at the Round Table? Gotcha, don't I?
Yep.
Think about that one. Where's our math teacher at?
She's in the bathroom.
Who's the largest knight at the Round Table? Circumference.
Sir, what?
Circumference. I don't get paid enough for this, folks. Okay. Brad Angelo was born on December 23rd, 1969. Brad is a professional bowler, semi-retired from the PBA Tour. He was also a two-time Team USA member. He currently owns 2 PBA Tour championships, along with 6 regional titles. He's a member of the Vice Pro staff and the Storm Pro staff. Brad started bowling at the age of 3. He even met his wife, Michelle, at a bowling tournament. They married in 1998 and have 3 children, Dylan, Brielle, and Riley. Brad joined the PBA on 2/22/2002 and was Rookie of the Year, 2002-2003. He made his first TV show in 2003 at the Banquet Open. He was the Harry Smith points leader for the 2003-2004 season. He won the Pepsi Viper Championship in 2008. He won again on the Viper pattern in 2012, beating Mika Kolvimyemi by 1 pin. Brad currently owns and operates Brad Angelo Lanes in Lockport, New York. Let's give a warm Western Cumberland County welcome to Brad Angelo. We gonna put that down?
I'll put it over here. I'm gonna put this right here. I have to tell you something. Is it okay if I walk around out front? Is that okay with you? So I'm sitting here and I've been, first of all, I need to thank Stacy Dodson for giving me a call and asking if I would be available to be here with you tonight. And from that moment, as I would be driving around, driving to the next tournament, or sometimes sitting there watching TV, I thought about what would I really want to say. And I called Stacy and I said, what would you like me to talk about? And she said, well, why don't you just talk about, bowling in your life and somehow promote bowling. You can tell your story, but if it ties in with bowling, that would be great. So I'm sitting here. I don't have anything written down, so this is all I'm just going to be me. And I gotta tell you what, I'm sitting there and I'm seeing some of these young adults come up here, and I'm moved. I feel like our country's gonna be okay. I am so impressed with some of the things that I heard some of you say. And I haven't met you, but I feel like I know you. Because we share this bond of this sport that we love, bowling. So thank you, Stacy, for allowing me to be here, because I feel like now, as I leave and drive back home tomorrow, that I'll be better for having been here. So thank all of you. A huge congratulations to Don and to Bruce. I met them for the first time today. Bruce reminded me that I had signed a couple autographs at one of the trade shows that they came to. But those trade shows, people just come through the line and you sign an autograph and try to answer and have a little small talk here or there. But I got a chance to know them a little bit better today. What an honor it must feel sitting in that seat that you're sitting in and having these people say these nice things about you for the career that you've had in the sport of bowling and what you've done. To have somebody fly back home and write such a wonderful thank you for what you've meant to his career. And I'm sitting there fortunate enough to be sitting next to you, Nick. So that wasn't anything that I thought of what I wanted to be talking about, but I thought that I need to say that. There's so much going on in our country, and it's nice to be in an area of small town America and hear people talk about values, and hear people talk about thank you to the adults in their life. And I just think it's awesome. So I need to say that. If you can let me say that, that's the start of what I wanted to talk about. It wasn't even anything that I thought about talking about. So that's the start. So who would like to hear a little bit of my story? I don't want to take a whole lot of time, but I need to tell you, when you talk about bowling, that's my life. Since I was 3 years old, going to the hairdresser with my mom and crawling around on the floor, and the hairdresser saying, what are you going to be when you grow up? I want to be a professional bowler. And Mrs. Taylor would say, oh, that's nice. And I would get mad. I am going to be a pro bowler, Mrs. Taylor. And to this day, whenever I run into her, she reminds me of that. She says, I can't believe you made it. But I have people in my life too, just like Don, that I have competed against. And Bruce, that have helped me make it to that next little plateau that you mentioned. So here we go. I grew up in a small town outside of Buffalo, New York. Newfane, New York. We didn't even have a high school bowling team. I played football, basketball, and baseball. And when I graduated high school, I ended up going to college, to Erie Community College. Mainly because the year prior, they had won the National Collegiate Bowling title. As a 2-year college, community college, they ended up beating all of the four-year colleges, Wichita State, Nebraska, all of the main colleges. Some of you know about them. So Erie Community College was one of the best colleges in the country, and it was just a junior college. So I went there mainly because of that, and I bowled for them, and I made All-American in the junior college, and many of you know Mike Shady.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I met Mike Shady. My first year at the National Collegiate Finals, I ended up meeting Mike. On the team that I bowled at Erie Community College was Carrie and Shelly Machuga. Some of you know them. So I bowled on that team with them, and now Carrie is married to Mike, as many of you know. As I went farther, I ended up bowling in a lot of the Megabuck tournaments. How many of you have ever heard of the Megabuck tournaments? The High Roller, the International Eliminator tournaments, the Hoinky tournament. That's where I learned to cut my teeth. I had all these same dreams that Don had. I'm 9 years old. Talk about Bryson here. 8, right? He's 8? Bryson's 8. He came to the little clinic that we did today over there. Wow, what a talent. Huge talent. So I was just 1 year older than Bryson, and I would set up the little plastic pins down at the end of my hallway, and I had a little TV tray right here with 3 score sheets on it. Brad, Wayne Webb, and whoever else was bowling, because Wayne Webb was my guy. And he ended up winning the Firestone Tournament of Champions. And then they came through Buffalo for their PBA stop in Buffalo, and I went and asked him for an autograph. Mr. Webb, could you please sign this? And he pulled out this piece of paper, and he said, "To Brad, best wishes, Wayne Webb." And I went home, and I cut that autograph out and taped it on my bedroom wall. And I would lay there in my room after the TV show was over, and I would say, one day I want to be out in there on that PBA tour. I'm going to do it. I don't care what it takes. So now we fast forward. I bowled in college. I had cut my teeth as an amateur bowler, if you will. At the time, the PBA was struggling. Many of you know that they lost their contract with ABC, and they moved over to ESPN, and there wasn't a whole lot of money out on the PBA tour, and those big amateur tournaments were thriving, and so I went and bowled all of those. In 1997, I was supposed to go golfing one day with a good friend of mine named Mike Newman. Some of you might remember a superstar named Mike Newman. I was supposed to go golfing. It was a Saturday. Woke up in the morning, it was pouring rain. And little did I know that that would be the day that my life, one of the days in my life, that would change everything. So I said, Mike, what are we going to do? I mean, we can't go golfing, it's pouring. And he said, well, there's a tournament over in Niagara Falls, and whoever wins the tournament gets to go bowl try out for Team USA. And I said, okay, well, let's go bowl. And I was fortunate enough to win that tournament, and I earned a spot to go to St. Louis to try to qualify for Team USA. Bowled the qualifier in St. Louis, ended up qualifying for Team USA for 1997. And because of that, Storm, the Storm Company, they signed a bunch of these amateur bowlers to a small contract, where if you threw their bowling balls and you went and bowled these Megabuck tournaments, that they would pay you $500 just to go bowl the High Roller or the Super Hoinky or the Eliminator, the International Eliminator. And so I said, okay. Now you might know some of the names that were on that original contract. Each of us had individual contracts, but some of the names that signed that same contract, Tim Mack, who's from down the road in Pennsylvania, Tommy Jones, Chris Barnes. Those are 3 pretty strong guys that Storm decided to put these amateurs on a contract. So I went to bowl, for the first time, I went to bowl the International Eliminator at Sam's Town Bowling Center in Las Vegas. How many have ever been there? Raise your hand. So you know, if you're going to the bowling center, you got to go down this escalator. Get down into the basement, right down around the left side of that escalator was the check-in table for the eliminator. And there was 3 or 4 guys standing over by the front desk. And they were talking about this girl that was there behind the desk, behind the table, checking in people. And I looked over and I said, I'm going to go ask you to dinner. And so I walked over and I said, hi, my name's Brad. And she looked up and she said, yeah, I know who you are. And I said, good, can we go to dinner while we're in town this week? And she said, I don't date bowlers. So we got engaged later that year in November and got married the following year in 1998. 3 years later, April 27th, 2001, this true Italian guy that was raised, roots of an Italian family man, I was blessed with a son. Dylan was born. Later that summer, Michelle and I decided that we were going to move to Las Vegas. I had a friend of mine that worked at the MGM Grand, and he was going to get me a job as a valet at the MGM Grand. Michelle had gotten to know Mike Moniak. Some of you know that name. He runs South Point Hotel, the bowling center at South Point now. She was going to be trained to be Mike Moniak's assistant manager at the Orleans, because he managed the Orleans at that time. So now, we flew back home from that tournament out in Las Vegas, and I sat my mom and dad down and I said, listen, we're going to move to Las Vegas. I want to raise my family, Dad. And he said, you got to do what you got to do. So we had everything all planned, had a house picked out. My wife, Michelle, she was a manager at Starbucks in Buffalo. She called me one day in September. I had just got done feeding Dylan, and she said, what is going on? Everybody's freaking out today. I said, I don't know. And I turned on the television, and I saw the second plane go into the World Trade Centers. That changed everything. Nobody wanted to fly. If you remember, the people that I knew at the MGM Grand, they said, Brad, we can't give you a job now. I mean, we're laying people off. Nobody wants to come to Las Vegas anymore. And so the rest of 2001, Michelle and I had a lot of heart-to-heart talks about how we were going to raise this family that we now had. And right after the holidays, January 2002, Michelle said, I know what we're going to do. And I said, what? And she said, you're going to go on tour and you're going to finish living your dream. And I said, well, what about you? What about Dylan? And she said, we'll be here when you get home. We'll be here. We're not going anywhere. So as you heard in the introduction, I joined the tour in February 2002. The first tournament that I bowled was in Albany, New York. I was fortunate enough to make the cut, made it to match play. Back then, many of you remember, there was a best of 5 game match or a best of 7 game match that we bowled. It wasn't just all qualifying down to the TV show. And so I called my wife and I was crying. The night before, we had went to dinner at my mom and dad's house because this was it. I was going on the road. And I asked my mom, I said, Mom, what did you do with all that stuff that was in my bedroom? It was all on the wall. She goes, oh, I took it all off the wall and I put it in the shoebox. It's in the closet somewhere. So I went and I rummaged through that and I found that autograph from Wayne Webb that I was 9 years old when I got, but now here I am 32 years old and I'm going on tour. And I made the cut in that first tournament and I called Michelle when I was crying And she said, well, who do you have to bowl? I just got chills. I get choked up when I tell the story, but I want you to know that dreams can happen, and we don't know what it's going to be. We don't know what thin thread's going to happen or what crappy thing that's going to unfold that causes us to make a decision, right? You play the hand you're dealt as best you can. Sometimes you get crappy cards, and you got to make that hand work just to live for the next moment. I had bowl Wayne Webb my first match in my first tournament on the PBA Tour. After the match, I went to the hotel, and I sat on the edge of the bed, and I just bawled like a little baby. All of those dreams that I had wanting to compete, all of the dreams of the plastic pins, all of the score sheets, I still have some of those. So I went back to the hotel, and I pulled out that autograph that Wayne Webb had given to me. And I drove back over to the bowling center, and he was still there. And I walked over to him, and I just held this out. I said, Wayne, look at this. And I started crying. I said, you'll never know what you meant to this 9-year-old. You'll never understand what you meant to this 9-year-old and the dreams that you planted. This has been on my wall for years. And I pulled it out of the shoebox. He turned it over and he looked on the back, and on the back he had signed this on a Booster Club raffle. First place, get this, first place in the raffle was a microwave oven. We're talking 1979 he signed this for me. So, Dylan grew up. We were blessed with another child, Brielle, 2003. I was out on tour. In 2004, I was fortunate enough to finish the season ranked #1 in the world without winning a title. Brielle was at home, Dylan was at home, Michelle was home, and I'm out living my dream. Dylan grew up and wanted to change his room around, and he thought it would be good if he had my desk from my house. So I went through and cleaned out my desk, and down tucked in one of the drawers of my desk was my very first 200 game. Lanes 3 and 4 at Alley Brandt Lanes. I stepped up into the 10th frame, and I remember vividly my dad saying to me, hit the head pin. Which was the worst thing that he could have possibly said. I ended up leaving a washout. Little did I know that I needed 3 pins of that washout to be able to shoot 200. So I hit this. I brought this as well. I got 6 and 3 in the 10th frame for my first 200. This is back before automatic scoring. So you want to talk about dreams and careers and family and spouse support and coaches and competitors and tournaments and all of those things. I won my first title in 2008. We were blessed with Riley, our daughter Riley, in 2010. I exploded a tendon in my wrist in January of 2012 that's attached to my ring finger. I was out for a whole year. Storm honored their contract the entire time. I was with Brunswick when I joined the tour, and then in 2010 we parted ways, and then I immediately signed with Storm. And then I got hurt, and they honored the contract, which, as a side note, during COVID, Storm honored the contracts of every one of their staff guys, all through COVID, which I'm flattered, because that helped us get through. So I exploded this tendon in 2012, right after I had won my second title. My dad passed away in 2013. we decided to buy a bowling center so I could try to be home and raise my family. And some of you proprietors that are in here, I feel your struggle. Little did I know that the bowling business isn't thriving. Why? Why is it that people don't enjoy and embrace our sport? Is it because they don't realize that it's the only sport that competes on an invisible course? The only sport in the world. There's no other sport like it in the world. There's invisible obstacles in the sport of bowling that make it challenging. So today, one of the things that I did at the clinic is I took everybody down the lane and showed them that there's oil and that it moves around, and I think they liked it. Whether or not you could understand it yet, Bryson was down there, and you could see his wheels turning. I just want to go bowl. I just want to throw more shots. But as he gets older, he'll start understanding that, wow, our job is to adapt to that oil moving around, isn't it? Those of us that are coaches, I see a couple of coaches here from one of the colleges. It's great to see you. We're all this small, tight community. So now here I am, and I'm here tonight with you, and I was sitting in that chair, and I heard some things that I didn't expect. You know, you never know what to expect at an event like this. And as I leave, I will be thinking, I'm better because I was there. I hope my son and my daughter, well, Dylan, he's 20, he'll be 21. He decided he was going to move to Florida. So he's living in Miami by himself, downtown Miami, working as a valet, pursuing a professional golf career. I don't know if he's going to make it. But all I keep telling him is, just be happy. Just be happy. I don't care. We'll support you however we can. Just be happy. Brielle, she's going to college for forensic psychology at John Carroll University in Cleveland. And little Miss Riley, she has gotten heavily involved in horse riding. She's learning to jump, and she loves the equestrian type of stuff, so that's the direction she might go. So I guess the last thing that I would say before, and I would love to answer questions if you have them. I've heard that a couple of you were telling me about some of the other speakers that you had. They said, okay, so if anybody has any questions, and everybody was just kind of looking. But I guess what I would say is, all the way back to where I started my story, what if it wouldn't have rained that day? Sometimes when I'm driving around, I get chills thinking, what if the sun was shining that day? And I would have went golfing. I wouldn't have bowled that tournament in Niagara Falls. I certainly wouldn't have won. I wouldn't have tried out for Team USA. I wouldn't have made Team USA. I wouldn't have signed that contract. I wouldn't have went and bowled the Eliminator because of the contract. I wouldn't have met Michelle. There wouldn't be Dylan, Brielle, and Riley. Those thin threads that can happen change everything. The only reason I'm on tour is because of those terrorist attacks. Now, I'm not saying that, we're a horrible event in our country or in the world. But out of that came the PBA Tour, and out of that became Rookie of the Year. And now here I am sitting in a chair in Meadville, Pennsylvania, listening and being the guest speaker at an event that all of you have welcomed me so much all day long. So for that, I would say thank you. I don't know what struggles you're going through in your life. I have no idea. But I know we all have them, don't we? I went to a seminar a long time ago, and the speaker said, every one of us has problems. So if you take out that piece of paper that you have in front of you, and you write down your top 5 problems that you're going through, and then we fold them all up and put them in this bucket. You have this big bucket. And then we shake them all up and we pass that bucket all the way around. And you get to pull out somebody else's paper, and you read their problems. You're going to find out 2 things. Number 1, you're not the only one with problems. And number two, you might wish you had your list back. So try, as I see, and that's what I started tonight with, is as I was sitting here, we have some young adults here in this room. Holy cow, I am so impressed. Thank you for who you are and are becoming. Just know that there will be struggles and trials along your journey, and fight through it and get to the next one and bring it on, right, guys? Right? Isn't that where we need to go? So, what if it wouldn't have rained? That's kind of the moral of my story. What if it would have been sunny that day? I certainly wouldn't be here. So thank you for allowing me the time to be here. I hope I didn't speak too long. Did I talk too long?
No.
Is this okay?
Very interesting.
I would love to take questions if anybody has questions. I have no idea how many 300s I got. He's probably got way more than I. I don't count them anymore at a tournament. It's just 100 over. I'm just trying to get the next one, get those pins, and get to the next lanes. So does anybody have any question at all?
Brad, it's not a question, but I'm not sure if you were a rookie, but I remember you at the Flagship Open. We bowled together in the Pro-Am. The Flagship Open was probably Eastway Lanes?
It was at Eastway Lanes.
In Erie.
And that was either my second or my third tournament, right?
So you were still a rookie?
I was a rookie. Well, I wasn't even technically, my rookie year started in the fall of 2002. That was the spring of 2002. And I bowled the last three tournaments, and I was fortunate enough to make all three cuts. And, you know, part of bowling the next tournament was they want you to bowl a Pro-Am if you made the cut, so that's probably how we ended up bowling in the
that
Pro-Am.
particular year, I think, we didn't know Mike Shady, but Mike Shady ended up, I think he finished third that year at the Flagship.
I think he made the step ladder that year, you're right.
I think he finished third, and then Mike has spoken at various, you know, I mean, God bless, I love Mike. But
Mike is
he's now
wonderful.
up in Erie.
Mike is such a great guy. Carrie, great guy. Shelley, great guy. Mike Machuga, you know, maybe not so great. I love Mike. I truly do. I love Mike. The one thing I can say about Mike is he's authentic, right? You know what you're getting. But I've known Michael a long time, and he's extremely talented. Little side note. So the PBA Tour, the national tour, goes to Columbus quite a bit now, and bowls at Wayne Webb's Columbus Bowl. Every single time I walk in that building, if Wayne sees me, he walks through the whole crowd to be able to shake my hand. Bowling has given me every single thing that I have in my entire life. Doesn't have the financial rewards that I wish that it would have had, but it certainly gave me every other thing in my life that I could possibly imagine. A wife, 3 children, friends, literally all over the country. Many of you, I won't remember some of your names, but I can pretty much guarantee I remember faces. I'll remember your stories. I'll remember you're going to school to be a lawyer, going into the Marines. What an honor to have your son think enough about you to be able to record that. I think that's awesome. Just awesome. Anything else? Any other questions or comments? Yes?
Who won the match between you and Wayne?
I was fortunate. It was a best of 5 game match. I was fortunate enough to win 3 games to none. But that didn't matter. That wasn't it. 23 years of dreams and life and ups and downs and sideways and this and that, and thinking I was moving to Las Vegas to raise a family and excited about it. It wasn't that I wanted to give up on my dreams. It was that it was time for me to live other dreams. You know, being a dad, being a husband, being there, being a coach, baseball, hockey, all that sort of stuff. Those were dreams that I had, and now here I am, 20-something years, almost 20 years now, right? And I missed a lot of birthdays. I used to have to go bowl the Japan Cup. It was always the last week in April. And I remember flying that 13-hour flight, writing a letter to Dylan. Because I had to miss his birthday every year. Now we own this bowling center, and Michelle runs the bowling center. And in a lot of ways, I think our 3 children look at that bowling center as a place that took their mom away in a lot of ways. You know, I'm trying to be as transparent as I can. So many people, you see us bowl on television and you have such, you know, and we appreciate it, but the way that we are on television, you have no idea, the people, of what we're really like in real life. I enjoy being transparent. My wife ends up saying, why do you tell all that stuff? Like, why do you, I don't know. I just want you to know, maybe if I can inspire one of you, maybe some of you have a similar story, something you're fighting through. I don't know. The autographs that I sign, I always put, live your dream. Be happy. And it's not just something that I say. I mean, I really try to live it and believe it. So yes, I was fortunate enough to beat Wayne 3-0, but I would have been equally as moved emotionally and passionately had I got swept. Just the fact that in my first tournament, in my first match, that I had to bowl that guy that is 9 years old. Probably somewhere, if I dug around in my mom and dad's house, are some of those score sheets from when I was just a little kid bowling against those guys, Mark Roth, Marshall Holman, Pete Weber, and now I'm friends with all these guys. Norm Duke, play golf. I shared a car. I'm on the senior tour now. I'm on the senior tour now, and going into the final tournament out in Las Vegas, Pete Weber was leading the Player of the Year point race, and I was second. But I was leading the Rookie of the Year race, and I was just ahead of Chris Barnes and Tom Hess, who were also rookies. So it was the 4 of us. Tom Hess ended up winning the last tournament, earned enough points to pass me, pass Chris, pass Pete, and earn Player of the Year, Senior Player of the Year, and Senior Rookie of the Year in the same season, which is an awesome accomplishment. Tom Hess right now is over in Dubai. The Bowling World Championships are going on right now over in Dubai. I have been there. It's awesome. I haven't been to the World Championships, but I've been to Dubai. I've actually taught some bowling stuff right at the base of the pyramids in Egypt. We're here, we're doing some drills. Some of you know that I'm involved with Rick Benoit and a teaching philosophy called Bowl U. And there we were over in Cairo, Egypt. And we had the group of people and we decided we were gonna go to the pyramids. And there we were, right here was the Sphinx. And we're here like standing up on one of those big rocks. Those rocks are like this tall and probably about as big as this whole wall right there are one of those rocks when you see those pyramids. And so we're climbing up on one of the smaller rocks and doing some shadow drills. You know, you get the sun behind you and you can look down at your shadow and see your arms swinging, your swing plane. We were doing that right at the base of the pyramids because I got good at knocking over some sticks. So I have to pinch myself sometimes. So anything else? I know this is getting a little long-winded. Yes?
Can you explain a little bit about Bowl U?
I can. How many would like to hear about what Bowl U is? How many have heard of Bowl U? There's a few of you in here. So, you know, without getting into a really long, because there's a lot to it, Bowl U was founded by a man named Rick Benoit, who, in my mind, is the #1 most brilliant mind in the sport of bowling. And Bowl U breaks the sport of bowling down into 5 elements.
Anything that you can talk about in the sport falls within one of those elements. And Bowl U doesn't start teaching bowling from the approach and how to hold the ball. Bowl U teaches bowling from behind the pins, looking up through the lane and teaching people to understand what it looks like for the ball to come at you. So we start at the pins, and then we move into the athletic aura, which the mental game lives there, but the athletic aura is how do you present yourself when you walk into the bowling center to everybody else? What do they see? I know what I seen when I bowled at regional. I think that you won at Classic Products. Who's this guy? This guy's pretty good. The way that you represent yourself when you walk into that door, that's the athletic aura. The mental game is not, don't get mad. Because I get mad. Walter A. Williams gets mad. Pete Weber certainly gets mad. In fact, if you ever bowl Pete Weber, don't get him mad. Because he doesn't miss after that. So the athletic aura. So we start at the pins and then we move to the athletic aura, which is not what to think, it's how to think. How to think. Then we move into the lane and everything associated with the lane, the dimensions, oil, patterns, oils moving around, transition, different types of lane surfaces, different types of oils, angles as they relate the strategic side of things as far as the lane. And only then do we start getting into the physical game. Because now you're armed and equipped with some proper information. We got people teaching some things in our sport. I'm here to tell you, they're not right. But this isn't a time for me to debate anybody on what's right and what's wrong. But I showed some people today. People think that their ball goes all the way down just before it gets to the pins and it makes this huge angle. And that's not true. That doesn't happen. And you can really only appreciate that by walking all the way down there and watching that bowling ball come at you. Who did that today? Bruce, you didn't walk down, but you've been down there and seen it. Did you see it? Your ball doesn't hook that much, does it? If the gutter is right here, the head pin is right here. There's only 18 inches between the gutter and the pocket. So that's all the more the ball can hook. And most people don't like their ball getting out toward the gutter, do they? So subtract 4 or 5 inches at least. Now you only got the lateral movement relative to the lane is only somewhere between, maybe 10, maybe 12 inches, depending on the length of the pattern and blah, 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 the strategic side. But then we start teaching the physical aspects. And then we get into this thing that everybody wants to talk about, ball motion. The first time I heard anybody talk about the words ball motion was Rick Benoit, and it was right after I went on tour. I never heard it. And he said, the biggest changes in the sport of bowling have already happened. Automatic scoring, automatic pin setter, reactive resin bowling balls. Now Proprietors got to put so much oil on the lane just to keep the ball on the lane. And because of that, oil's moving around faster than ever before. And so Rick Benoit said, sitting across the table from me, is, you know what? The next change in the sport of bowling is how we teach it and how we describe ball motion. I said, huh? And now we see 15, 20 years later, that's what's happened, hasn't it? Everybody wants to talk about ball motion. So those are the 5 elements. So, and there's a lot more to it. We have tape on the lane, ropes on the lanes, colored triangles on the lanes, all kinds of stuff. We take people outside to teach the physical game. We don't even teach it inside. We get people away from the other 4 elements. So some of you maybe have seen those videos of some of the Bowl U training tools. Go try to do some of those training tools. I've seen little kids improve so fast just by going outside, give them this tool, and tell them a drill to do, And then in 15 minutes, you take them back inside and it's like, who's this kid? What happened here? I'm proud to say, Thomas Larson, how many of you have ever heard of Thomas Larson? Thomas Larson is from Denmark, and when he's here in the United States, he stays at my house. Thomas Larson and I are roommates when I was bowling on the PBA tour. And he's learned a lot from Bowl U. And he just won the USBC Masters this past year. And when he was accepting the trophy, you know, Thomas, he says, yeah, I need to thank all the people that have supported me. Thank you to Storm. Thank you to my coaches back in Denmark. This is just surreal. Thank you to Brad, Angelo, and Bowl U. Holy cow. Jason Sterner just moved to Rochester. How many have ever heard of Jason Sterner? He's dating a girl named Heather DeRico who lives in Rochester. About 2 weeks after the COVID shutdown happened, Jason called me and said, hey, listen, could I drive over to your bowling center and practice? And can you start teaching me some of this Bowl U stuff? And I said, sure. So he brought all his bowling balls in, we turned on some lanes, and when we were done, he literally just took his shoes off and left them right there, and when can I come back? Whenever you want. 2 or 3 days every single week during that shutdown, he was at my center, and I was teaching him Bowl U. Then he goes out on the PBA tour, makes back-to-back-to-back TV shows, 3 in a row, ends up qualifying for the King of Bowling, which is an elite. You have to qualify for that, like the top, 8 or 12 or something like that, qualify for the King of Bowling competition. And Jason Sterner ends up winning and beating everybody. E.J. Tackett, Anthony Simonson. I don't think Jason Belmonte was there because I think him and his wife Kimberly were welcoming their next child. So I don't think Jason was there. But all the best bowlers. Jason Sterner won the King of Bowling. And Kimberly Pressler is giving him this whole trophy, and she says to him, wow, what an amazing season you had. All these TV shows, this is the best year you've ever had. What do you attribute that to? And Jason Sterner said, Bowl U. That has taught me so much about what to watch for and what I didn't know that I was doing that I needed to do, and what I shouldn't have been doing that I was doing that I didn't realize I was doing. It has just taught me so much about me, and so I hope that answers your question. That was a little longer than I thought, but I don't know. I don't want to give just a little tidbit because I want to do Bowl U justice. And this is not at all a pitch for, yeah, let's do Bowl U. That's not what it is, but many people want to know what Bowl U is. Tell me your name again. Yeah, Kurt, that's right. Kurt, who now owns Plaza Lanes, I met him, talked with him for, I don't know, probably 15 to 20 minutes. And Kurt would like to try to put a Bowl U workshop together down in this area next spring, summer. How many would be interested? Yeah, I mean, that would be great. All ages. I have 8, 9-year-olds come, we have 70, 80-year-olds come, and everybody loves it. Very interactive. I showed him some of the videos that we do. Very interactive. It's really a fun day, and you learn a whole lot about the sport of bowling. Anything else? We got to kind of wrap this up. What am I at? About an hour and a half now? No. 2 hours? I mean this sincerely. And I want to say it again. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you for allowing me to be here to share this night with you, Bruce, and you, Don. What an amazing accomplishment. Congratulations on what you've done for the sport of bowling and what you've meant to so many people. Many of them probably aren't here, but you've had an impact on them, and that's obvious, and that was the one thing for me, again, I need to say it. I saw Birdie. I don't know, I'm not going to call you a birder, because you're Birdie. That's the way this is. I'm sitting there, and I'm looking over, and I couldn't get the smile off my face, and she couldn't get the tears out of her eyes. Because it means something, it validates something. You just keep trying to do the right thing. So, thank you for allowing me to be here. I don't know who's up next, but thank you for being here. Thank you for everything you did. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.